Hello, hello, good evening. I am setting up Instagram as well. So, good evening, Purpose Chasers. My name is Patrice Washington. I am the founder of Redefining Wealth. I am the host of the Redefining Wealth podcast, which, in my opinion, is one of the best podcasts out there. Founded in September of 2017. Last year, we hit 7 years and we also hit 20 million downloads. And Redefining Wealth, everything that I do, the podcast, the platform, the app, the book, the community, everything that I do at Redefining Wealth is really just centered around making sure that we're all clear that wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. Redefining Wealth is about making sure that we understand the original 12th century definition of wealth, which says it's about the condition of well-being and happiness. Hey, Ricos, how are you? And so I have my phone open here. Let me see if I should adjust it a little bit. I don't know. I feel like I should put you over here, Instagram. But so it's just about making sure that we understand that wealth is so much more expansive than just thinking about money and material possessions. And how do we know that's true? How do we know that wealth is just so much more than just money and material possessions? Because we know that even in seasons where we may feel financially stable, when times are uncertain, we still don't have peace. Come on, somebody, because I'm going to dive straight in, right? Even when we may feel like, okay, I have the job that I wanted, I have the bank account, I'm starting to save, I'm starting to do the things. The reality is that doesn't necessarily guarantee peace. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Have you ever felt like you have moved into a season where you were starting to get everything that you prayed for, and yet at your core, in your heart of hearts, you did not feel like you actually had peace? Let me know if you know what I'm referring to, because I need to make sure that I'm talking to the right folks. So I have Instagram here and I have YouTube up over here and potentially some folks from LinkedIn and Facebook. Again, I'm Patrice Washington. Tap in, say hello, tell me where you're checking in from, and I am going to dive in. And I felt compelled to dive in on this topic today because it's just heavy. Has anybody else just felt the heaviness? It's of 2025. I mean, listen, what is today? The 22nd? Who is like, what the heck? It's the 22nd of January and it already feels like what the entire hell. If we're radically honest, it feels like what the entire hell. You know how December 31st, we were like, okay, 2024, you done showed your butt. And now we're going into 2025. I don't want no problems. And then what happened? We're 22 days into the year and we have literally witnessed all types of foolishness. And I'm not just talking about the political climate, although we have witnessed a lot of foolishness. I'm talking about everything from, as a native Los Angelino, having to watch people that I know, people that I love and respect, lose their homes in the wildfires in California, and then watching people who call themselves people of faith demonize the things that have happened there instead of praying for people and holding space for people and contributing and giving. They're making up these stories about that's what people get, as if that's a compassionate, loving, generous way to be. Doesn't make sense to me. There were the snowstorms in Louisiana, of all places. We had storms that carried over from Florida, right at the end, like Q4. I had so many clients impacted by that. There's so much going on. Someone says snow in Mississippi, snow in Houston, it's snow in Atlanta. I was stuck yesterday and had to walk home because I couldn't get up the hill going towards my workhouse. And we saw cars sliding down, getting in accidents, all the things. I am one of those people. I got this from my first grade teacher, Miss Boynton, Miss Boynton said, Patrice, when I was in first grade, when you know something, you have a responsibility to share with friends. And I'm one of those people that instead of fully retreating in grief and in heaviness, right? The only way that I know to create peace in a time like this is to give. The only thing that I know is to give of what I know, of the rituals, of the behaviors, of the mindset shifts, because even in these types of uncertain times, your purpose is not postponed. Let me say that again. Even in these types of uncertain times, even when everything feels chaotic, even when we don't understand, even when it feels like what the entire hell, even when we are not certain of what is going to happen tomorrow. We're only 22 days into January and we are already frustrated with 2025. I already have seen people making memes saying, just fast forward me to December 31st, 2025, because it's already too much. Even when you feel that way, your purpose is actually not postponed. Your vision is not void. There are still things that you are being called to do. There is still something on your heart. And I don't mean just business, I mean just in general. There is a dream, there are visions, there are things that you feel like you are being called to do. And I know that it's hard to focus on those things. I know that it's hard to create space for those things. I know that it's hard to think about those things, but I just stopped by today to just offer you how I'm processing, offer you what I offer my clients, offer you what we do in the Redefining Wealth app and community. I go live there every single day. If you have not downloaded the Redefining Wealth app, you are missing out. We are on day 39 of my 365-day challenge, where every single day I show up and go live. Now, many times I have a word in my spirit, and sometimes the community just helps me pack or we cook or we do whatever needs to be done. Right? But I want you to know, if you do not have the Redefining Wealth app, you are missing out. There are thousands of purpose chasers from all over the globe. And every day I feel like a part of what I'm called to do in a season where so many people feel like they are grieving and there's just too much going on and there's too much heaviness. What I can give, again, are the mindsets, the rituals, the process, the reframes, because if you are going to thrive in a season like this, you're going to need something. Somebody say, I'm going to need something. If you can hear me, if this makes sense to you, if I'm speaking to you, say, I'm going to need something. I'm going to need something, because right now I already feel like, what the hell? And I understand if that's how you feel. What the entire heck? It's only the 22nd and I'm overwhelmed, right? There's too much going on. So there is so much. Demita says on Instagram, I'm gonna need something. Kimberly says, I'm gonna need something. Mud Puppy, then you need to come on into the Redefining Wealth app. It's totally free. You download it on your iOS or your Android device. That's where I go every single day. And if you were on YouTube, you would see all the comments of community members saying, the app is amazing. I love it there, all that stuff. Susie, you should definitely be in the app. You know I miss you. Come on over. All right. So let me get into my points for today, because I still have a flight to catch. And even in the midst of having a flight to catch, I still felt like I wanted to share this with you today because I sense the collective grief. Now, let me say this. Let me normalize something for you. You don't even have to be personally experiencing anything to feel the collective grief. The wildfire didn't have to come to your doorstep. The storms and the snow didn't have to impact you or your family. All the things going on, it doesn't matter. When there is something in the air, when there's like a collective like energy that is happening, it tends to make you feel some kind of way, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. How many of you, even just in the last week or two, you started 2025 and you said, okay, this is the year I'm going to do X, Y, Z. You're going to do whatever those things are that you felt like were on your heart. And literally, we're only 3 weeks in and you already find yourself not making excuses, but just saying, I don't have the bandwidth. I already feel behind. I don't have the focus. Because this live is about how to stay focused when everything feels out of control, how to find peace even in a chaotic time, and how to find focus even when everything feels out of control, right? I see you guys checking in on Instagram. Yes. Okay. So we're all there, figuring out new boundaries to stay focused. Yes. We're going to talk a little bit about that, my puppy. So I'm glad you're here. All right. So here are just 3 short takeaways. And again, I go live every day in the Redefining Wealth app. So we're always talking about ways to just continue to move forward in your vision. But let me give you the 3 takeaways just to keep you focused, even when everything feels out of control. Okay. Number 1, in order to stay focused, you have to start with a clear, ignited, aligned vision. In order to stay focused, you must begin with a clear, ignited, aligned vision. What does that mean? If you do not have a vision for your life, everything that you keep seeing on the news is going to toss you through and to and fro. And before you know it, you will look up, it will be December 31st, and you will be saying, where did the year go? No matter what's happening in these news cycles, no matter what's happening around us, the easiest way for us to get caught up in all the things is to not be clear about the vision that we are being called to in this season. Most people, if you ask them, do not have a clear vision for what they want for their life, and they do not have a clear vision of even what they want for this year. If you don't start with a clear, ignited, aligned vision, now let me go deeper. Ignited, aligned vision, that's mine, being trademarked. Don't try it because I already have a pending legal thing right now. Okay. Don't try it. Ignited, aligned vision. Let me break that down for you. This is not just, oh, I feel like I want to do XYZ this year. No, an ignited, aligned vision. First of all, ignited means what? It is a spark. It is excited. It is something that is from within. Many people, the reason that we get tossed to and fro as soon as times become uncertain is because most of the things that we are pursuing are not ours. They are what we think they should be. It is not what we truly desire. Most of us make goals rooted in or create a vision rooted in what we think the outside world will see as acceptable. Many of us, if we're radically honest, a lot of the things that we have pursued in our lives were because we thought someone else would be proud. We were trying to earn love, earn respect, earn adoration, earn whatever it is. And so we went after inspired vision, which is not the same as ignited vision. An ignited vision is a spark from within. There is a reason that you love what you love. There is a reason that there are certain things that excite you, that you are passionate about. That was given to you freely. Those are the gifts that were given to you freely. So when you hear me say you were born on purpose, with purpose, for purpose, there is something that is already inside of you. And in this season, your job is to allow that to be ignited. What most of us have done is suppressed it. We have suppressed the things that we genuinely desire in favor of trying to do things that we believe other people will approve of. Am I the only person who's ever done that? Did you choose the school, choose the job, choose the spouse, choose where you would live, choose certain things? If you're radically honest, was it inspired vision and not ignited vision? Have you ever made a choice in your life, and when everything really panned out, you said, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I never really wanted to do that. I didn't even like him like that. I didn't even belong over there. I shouldn't have even gotten that, gone and worked with those people. But because we pursued inspired vision and not ignited vision, we kept going in a direction that was not for us. And in this season, if you are going to make it and stay focused, even at a time when everything feels out of control, Anything that you are pursuing has to be ignited from within. If you don't have an ignited vision from within, it is so easy for it to be dampened every time the news cycle runs and we get in our feelings. And I'm not saying dismiss feelings. This is the first season in my life where I am embracing all the feelings. Baby, I cry now more than I've ever cried in my life, but I also have more joy than I've ever had in my life, right? But that's because everything that I do, I try to do it from an ignited vision, not inspired. I'm not here to live up to people's potential. I am not here to live up to your potential. Some of us do things because we think we should, but everything that is permissible is not beneficial. Just because it sounds good and looks good on paper doesn't mean it's for you in this season. And if you keep pushing through with inspired vision only to do the things that you think people want you to do or that you think you should do, and if everything you pursue is based on what you think and not what you feel in your soul is the right thing for you, as soon as things get out of control, you lose your peace. And this is about how do we keep our peace even in a chaotic time. All hell can be breaking loose around you, but if you are sold out for that vision and that thing that you feel called to in this season, you will keep going. So that was the very first one. Instagram, are you with me? That was the very first one. How do we find peace in chaotic times? How do we stay focused when everything feels out of control? We begin with a clear, ignited, aligned vision. What do I want? What would I genuinely love? What do I see for myself, regardless of what other people think, regardless of what other people say? Because when all hell breaks loose, I have to be the one to keep going. So it has to be something that truly matters to me. If it ever just feels like something that matters to you, but not really to me, of course, I'm going to fall off. Of course, there's no consistency. Many of us have a challenge with consistency because we're working on things we're not committed to, we're interested in. Because when you are committed to it, even when you have to pull up a little bit, you're still going to make progress no matter how tiny. Lisa Nichols was a mentor of mine years ago, and she taught me we get to be committed to the vision, not attached to how we get there. And sometimes we may have to pause. I saw a question flash by. I have 2 more points, so I'm going to keep going. But sometimes you may have to pause, right? But consistency doesn't mean that I'm operating at a 10 every single day. Consistency means I show up for the vision every single day. And some days, all I got is a 1. But that 1 still contributes to the vision. Other days, all I have is a 3. But that 3 is still going to contribute to the vision. For 2 days in a row, I might be feeling on a high and I'm a 10. Some of those days I might be a 15 and make up for some of the days that were a 1 or a 3. But the vision matters to me so much that I do the pieces I can with what I have at any given moment. And I hope that that blessed the person who said something on the Instagram feed. All right. Okay. So here's number 2. We're talking fast. We got to get to the airport. Here's number 2. When I said an ignited, aligned vision, not only does it have to come from within, what we miss quite a bit is aligning the rest of our lives to support the vision. Many of us will say that we desire something, and then we will create on top of the chaos that already exists. We create more because all the parts of our lives that will impact the vision, which is what I teach from at Redefining Wealth, the 6 pillars of wealth. These are all the parts of your life that impact your vision, your wealth, the goals that you say you have, even when you're not thinking about it. The alignment comes from making sure that all of these other pillars, the fit pillar, becoming your best self, the people pillar, creating relationships that matter, the space pillar, setting up your life to support you, the faith pillar, believing in something greater, work pillar is all about living your life's purpose. And then money is about managing the money that you already have wisely. All of these things, right, have to align to the vision. We say at Redefining Wealth, and again, I do lives every single day in the Redefining Wealth app. It's totally free, and I have 39 days of good teaching. Some of them we were just having fun, but most of them is good. Most of it is good teaching. And you can come into the Redefining Wealth app and get familiar with the pillars and all the things. Download it on your iOS or Android device. But what we say is, all of those pillars that I've been teaching from for 7 years, Redefining Wealth has existed for over 7 years already, okay? And I've taught these pillars to millions. We've had 20 million downloads on the podcast. I used to be on the Steve Harvey morning show. I used to answer people's personal finance questions for 4 years, every single week. Like, I have been everywhere on stages all over the place teaching this stuff. I'm leaving to go to Arizona tonight to do the same. So when I tell you, we have been teaching people this for 7 years. Now we have the Institute for Redefining Wealth. I have faculty, 7 faculty members that support me in helping you really align the pillars. And here's the deal. Many of us say that we have a vision, right? We have something that we're working towards, and then nothing about those pillars reflect what we say we want. Nothing about how we live in those pillars reflect what we say we want. And there's a such thing as the familiarity paradox. When you hear me say the words, when you hear me mention those pillars, it's so easy to believe that you already understand. You're like, oh, fifth pillar, yeah. Don't get it twisted. Just because you understand the words, do not assume you understand the work. Let me say it again. Just because you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, do not assume that you understand the work. Because in order for you to continue to have peace and stay focused, these pillars need to align with the vision. What does that mean, Patrice? That means your calendar is the ultimate reflection of your true priorities. You want to keep peace? Look at what's on your calendar. Is it, right? Is it aligned with what you say you want? Because if what's on your calendar doesn't support your vision, then distractions and overwhelm will overtake you in this season. Why? Because we've already seen 22 days into the year that this is about to be a very distracting season. We've already seen 22 days into the year. And I don't even mean because of wildfires and storms and snow in random places and all of the things going on politically. I spoke with a client today who just shared with me that she had a domestic violence episode with an estranged husband. I reached out to another client that I hadn't seen coming into the app because I'm that person. I'll randomly check on people, wellness checks. And literally, right? Literally heard like that she was going through a health episode. Life is still going to life. There are going to be so many things that are just fighting for your attention, fighting to get you off course, fighting to take that vision from you. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Some of you, you know that vision is so great because if you really took that vision to the next level, you realize how it would not just be a blessing to you, but to the people that you are attached to the people that you are assigned to. So sometimes the assignment to take you out and to get you distracted is so great. But you have to make sure that you're doing the parts that you can do in those pillars to protect your vision. And some of us, we don't even start with the most basic thing, which is what is on your calendar. Who are you giving your time and attention to? What has your priority, right? Are we even blocking out time for what matters most? Because what did they used to tell us? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Some of us have no governing decisions for what's on our calendar, for who we spend our time with, for who we allow into our space. If we had governing decisions, many of you know that as boundaries. I talk about governing decisions. Governing decisions are, how do I want my life to go? What do I want things to look like, right? What do I need, want, and desire? And I define that even before I step into relationship with other people. Obviously, we're all already in relationship with multiple people, but this is an opportunity for you to take a step back and say, what do these things look like? Because then no matter who like comes, no matter what the distraction is, no matter what the news says, no matter what's going on, you already get to tap into your governing decisions and say, this doesn't really align for me. Some of you, I have a governing decision just around what I allow into my spirit. What am I going to listen to? What am I going to read? What am I going to look at? Which means I don't watch the news all day. I might read a few highlights and call it a day. Miss Wanda just said she's weaned from TV in this season. I'm sure for the same reason. If we're going to find peace in the midst of chaos, we have to control the flow of things that are coming in to our spirit. You are not going to miss anything huge in the news because whatever's supposed to get to you will get to you. Trust that. Believe that. All the things that you need to know will be revealed to you. But as far as you leaning in, now this is a governing decision for me. Maybe it doesn't bother you. But because I have that governing decision, it dictates for me some priorities, some things I'm willing to do. It dictates a lot of things I'm not willing to do. It dictates who I'm going to allow in my space. People who are always talking about doom and gloom and all the things, they always want to rehash all of the worst of what's going on in the world. That doesn't feed my spirit. I choose to tap out. I choose not to engage. As I said when I started this live, without even knowing all the things, collectively, we can still feel grief. We can still feel suffering. We can still feel like that heaviness and energy. And I'm someone, when I feel like there's a lot of grief, how I give is to teach. How I give is to share what I do in the hopes that it will be a blessing to others, right? So the very first way that we find peace in the midst of a chaotic season is just to make sure, again, we start with a clear, ignited, aligned vision. And then 2, we align the calendar with all of our priorities. We set some governing decisions about what we want to feel, who we want to be, what our relationships need to look like, what the flow of information needs to look like for us, any of those things that actually matter to you, right? And we make sure that all of the pillars, the 6 pillars of wealth, are prioritized and calendared in a way to protect the vision. And here's number 3. I don't believe that you can do this alone. I really don't. I've said a couple times already, come into the Redefining Wealth app. It's totally free. I believe in community. I don't believe that success is a solo journey. I don't believe that greatness is created in isolation. And I truly believe that what many of us do, especially as high achieving people, a lot of us have been taught to move in silence, to be, to not tell people anything, not talk about the vision, not do this, not do that. The problem is when times are uncertain, what I find, especially in my clients who are very brilliant people, is that you will talk yourself in and talk yourself out when you're not around people who speak the language of abundance, when you're not around people who speak the language of alignment, when you're not around people who speak the language of acceleration. I believe just by language, we can transfer ways of being, right? Sometimes you will have to borrow my delusion about your own vision. Sometimes you might have to borrow my delusion or another purpose chaser's delusion because you're so used to looking at everything through your physiological eyes, and all that you do is look at and complain and tap into all the doom and gloom and why things can't work and why it won't go well and what the problem is and nobody ever supports us and blah and on and on and on. And some of us actually navigate life as if nobody wants to support you. The truth is, you've been told that you can't trust anybody. You've built a belief that you can't, and then you don't share, so you don't enroll people in the vision, when truly there are people who are, a text message away, a phone call away, who would support you, but you've been taught that you can't share. In our community, we believe in sharing. As I said, my first grade teacher, Ms. Boynton, said, Patrice, when you know something, you have a responsibility to share with friends. I don't have to be here sharing. I'm on the way to the airport. I don't have to share. I feel compelled to share because if one person here on Instagram got one nugget from this live, then it was worth it. If one person here on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook got something from this live, then it was worth it. Now, I don't have a belief about you doing anything for me. My job is always to give God something to bless. And the Redefining Wealth community is a community where we are always giving God something to bless. Sometimes that is an encouraging word. Sometimes that is just a thumbs up because so many people, right? Sometimes that's just a thumbs up because so many people just don't even feel seen or loved or heard, respected. That's what this community is. For 7 years, I've been building community, right? Sonia says community is so vital, has kept me grounded. I'm so grateful for the Redefining Wealth community. Oh, I love that. Caitlin, I needed that reminder. I'm sorry, I missed something. Oh, Caitlin, the highest paid speakers are the ones who inspire. That's so solid. The language has impact. I love this community for that and the accountability. Oh, Caitlin, it's so good to see you, friend. I'm happy to see you. Yeah, listen, don't keep trying to do everything by yourself. Like, come on in, come a little closer, be inspired, be supported, like allow yourself to be encouraged. What'd you say, Floyd? And for me, sometimes it's just sitting in and listening to others share wisdom. And yes, for the guys on Instagram, we do have one strong brother, Floyd. Everybody knows and loves Floyd. Hi, Floyd. He said, yeah, sometimes it's just sitting in and listening to others share wisdom. It is so important in this season. If you're going to find peace and stay focused, even when things feel out of control, to be around people who speak the language of peace. Again, to be around people who speak the language of authenticity, of alignment, of abundance, of vision. It's just like babies, right? They pick up the language that is around them. Before you know it, it becomes your language. Before you know it, it becomes your strength. Before you know it, it becomes your belief. In the Institute for Redefining Wealth, I just did a training a couple weeks ago. Everything begins with belief. Belief is the foundation of all of this. If you don't believe you can have peace in this season, that is going to be your experience. Because what you verbalize, you magnify and magnetize. So if you don't believe that there are genuine people out here that want to support you, that will be your experience. If you don't believe that your vision is worthy and still valid, even in uncertain times, that will be your experience. If you don't believe, you see where I'm going? This starts with your belief. Because belief is what shapes our thoughts. Our thoughts is what give us our language, our words. Words dictate actions. Actions become habits. Habits become values. And whether your vision comes to fruition or not will be reliant upon what you really value. Because your values are going to show up in how you show up every single day. So you want to have peace? You want to have peace in an uncertain time? You want to say you value peace? Then what are your beliefs about it? What are the words associated with it? What are the thoughts? What are the actions? What are the habits that you have? Because all of that is going to play into whether you can make it through this month, through this quarter, through this year, through this decade with more peace and ease and grace, despite what you see going on outside of you. This world has taught us that external information and validation is the all being thing. It's everything. And what I'm here to remind you of and shake you up a little about is that if you're going to create peace, even in a chaotic season, and stay focused, even when things feel out of control, you're going to have to learn to ground that inner game. Hi, Sam Burns. I haven't seen you in forever. You're going to have to learn to really prioritize the inner game. This is an opportunity for us to go within and above. Stop physiological vision looking out at all this news and all this stuff that is designed to exhaust you. create some time and some space to go in and above. And if that's the type of community and vibe and energy you want to be in, come to the Redefining Wealth app. It's totally free. Come in. I go live every single day. Today, this is my live for the day. But typically, I don't go live on all these platforms. But one thing I'm going to do is make sure the people who are assigned to me in this season, that we get through this with as much peace and joy and ease and grace as we can, because we are going to share the information, right? We are going to share the reframes. We are going to stay committed to whatever vision you feel like God has put on your heart in this season. We are going to do the things. You can be out here with these folks who want to exhaust you and put you in fear and have you thinking that everything is just going to hell in a handbag. You can do that if you want. I know no matter what, I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what this year holds, but I know who holds me. And I know that I'm down to lock arms and hold the people who are assigned to me in this season. And I am so grateful to be the founder of the Redefining Wealth community. I say it every time. I've led over 22 group coaching programs, and I say it all the time. I feel so blessed to have attracted such an amazing community of people. I feel so blessed to have attracted such an amazing community of people from literally all over the world. And some of us, listen, I'll leave you with this. Stephen Furtick from Elevation Church said this in 2020. He said, "We are all in a storm right now, but we're not all on the same type of ship. We might all be experiencing a storm. There might be a lot of heaviness collectively. It may feel very chaotic collectively. Things may feel out of control. We might all feel like we're on a storm, but we're not in the same ship. Some of y'all gonna let people exhaust you to death, and you're gonna paddle through this entire experience in a kayak. And some of us are gonna keep building this vision, and it may not be a yacht, it may not be a cruise ship, but baby, we're gonna get in something sturdy and make it through this season. I will not be paddling through. I will not be paddling through. Everything that we talk about redefining wealth and these pillars and how they protect the vision mentally and physically, I'm focused on being in the best shape mentally, physically of my life. Relationship wise, I am not tolerating any relationships, period, that do not align with my vision. Okay? Relationship wise, in the people pillar, we're not just going along to get along anymore. If you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, we're not funding frustration. When we said we were hiring people to pay for peace, we're not doing that in this season. Those days are over. Okay? We're not sitting in spaces allowing ourselves to be mistreated when we know that we were made for more. We're not doing that, right? In the space pillar, if I don't love it, I don't want it. In the space pillar in this season, we're working towards it as a community. If we don't love it, we don't want it. No, thank you. I'm not settling for anything I just kind of like, not interested. Been settled in the 30s, not doing that in the 40s. I don't know how old y'all are, but as a woman of a certain age, not doing that. My community, we're not doing that. In the faith pillar, believing in something greater, we are defining what our faith looks like for ourselves. We are not just going along with how people tell us it should be. We are interrogating. We are inquisitive. We are looking into things so that when we say we believe something, we can hold that steady, because we need that resilience to keep us moving through whatever this season brings us, right? In the work pillar, living our life's purpose, right? No longer can we keep running from the call on our lives. Some of us are doing what we know we're called to do, but we hate the way we do it. It doesn't feel aligned. It doesn't feel authentic. And the only way or only reason we keep doing it is because people have told us that we should do it this way. We are so over the shoulds. Again, everything that is permissible is not beneficial. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should. What we want to do is feel fully aligned with every part of how we express ourselves in the marketplace, whether that's in our business or someone else's. Some of us are using the right gifts in the wrong ministry, but we're going to get to that another day. We're going to talk about that another day. And then in the money pillar, we have been doing book clubs in the Redefining Wealth Live app. We're almost done reading Start Thinking Rich. One of the authors, it's a co-authored book, Adrian Brambilla, and also Dr. Brad Klontz, who is a mentor of mine. He's coming into the app on Monday, and we're doing a Q&A together. We're finishing out the book club. Then we're moving on to Sahil Bloom's The 5 Types of Wealth. I just interviewed him. He's so lovely for the Redefining Wealth podcast. His episode will be out first week in February. And then we're moving into his book club. So when it comes to the money pillar, we're working, right, foundationally back to basics to make sure, again, what type of ship do you want to be in this season? There's an opportunity here, again, no matter what is going on in the world, for you to really move through this with more peace, ease, and grace. But what will you choose? Who will you listen to? What will you commit to? Because your purpose is not postponed, even with all the things that are going on. Your vision is still valid, even with all the things that are going on. And you still have a responsibility to show up for yourself, to show up for that vision, to show up for your dreams, to be consistent with your goals, even on some days when you can't give it a 10, even if you can give it a 1, that's still consistency because you showed up for it. And it's your responsibility to put yourself in spaces where the language reflects what you say you desire. You can't say that you desire peace and keep putting yourself in spaces where the language in the conversation is all about fear. It's all about all these things that you don't want, right? It's all about all these things that you don't desire. You keep feeding that, you keep fueling that, you will have more of that, because what you verbalize, you magnify and you magnetize. So I hope that this has been a blessing to you all. Thank you for spending this time with me. I got to get to the airport, but I just felt it on my heart. Like I said, collectively, there's just so much going on in the world, so much going on in the space. And whenever I feel grief, the only thing that I know to do besides pray is to give. And I want to give to you my belief that we have the power to navigate this season with so much more peace than people think. You can do it. We can do it. And we will do it together. But make sure you tap in. All right. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night. I'll save this live on Instagram for now. And for everyone in my community, the Redefining Wealth app, I'll make sure that we get the replay up and save it over there for you guys as well. But have a blessed night. I hope to see you on my live tomorrow. I'll be broadcasting live from Arizona. And yeah, you guys take care. Bye-bye. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.